Welcome to the exciting journey of mastering English fluency. Whether you're a beginner or someone looking to sharpen your skills, this lesson focuses on one of the most powerful strategies to enhance your English speaking abilities: learning to think in English. Many English learners face a common obstacle: translating their thoughts from their native language into English before speaking. This process not only slows down communication, but also increases the likelihood of mistakes and diminishes confidence. The good news? You can overcome this challenge by training your mind to think directly in English. Let's break it down. Why is thinking in English important? When you think in your native language and then translate, you're essentially performing two tasks at once. This doubles the effort and creates unnecessary pauses. Imagine the smoothness of skipping the translation step altogether. Your thoughts flow naturally, and you can express yourself effortlessly. This change not only speeds up your speech, but also builds your confidence in using English in real-time conversations. Thinking in English has other advantages too. It helps you internalize the language, allowing you to develop an intuitive understanding of grammar, sentence structure, and vocabulary. Over time, this leads to more natural and fluent speech. Moreover, it allows you to immerse yourself in English without needing constant practice with others. Even when you're alone, you can practice forming sentences and expressing ideas directly in English. How can you train your brain to think in English? You might wonder how to make this leap from translating thoughts to thinking in English directly. The answer lies in breaking the process into simple, manageable steps. We'll guide you through 4 key steps to help your brain adapt to this new way of processing language. These steps are easy to implement in your daily routine and, with consistent practice, will bring noticeable improvements to your fluency. Here's a sneak peek into what you can expect. Starting with basic vocabulary, building up to full sentences, and eventually narrating your thoughts in English like a pro. It's all about gradual progress and consistent effort. Ready to begin? Before diving into these steps, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Subscribing ensures you never miss out on valuable lessons designed to help you achieve your English fluency goals. Each video offers practical tips, engaging exercises, and motivational advice to keep you on track. Your journey to speaking English fluently, confidently, and naturally starts here. By learning to think in English, you're setting yourself up for success not just in language learning, but also in expressing yourself effectively in any situation. So, let's get started and make this transformation together. Step 1. Focus on verbs, the building blocks of action. Learning to think in English begins with mastering verbs, the action words that are the foundation of every sentence. Verbs describe what is happening around us or what we are doing. By focusing on verbs, you can begin to process everyday experiences directly in English, which is a key step toward fluency. Why focus on verbs? Verbs are essential for understanding and describing actions. They are at the core of communication, allowing you to explain what you or others are doing in the moment. For instance, whether you're describing an activity, narrating a story, or having a casual conversation, verbs are the backbone of every sentence. By learning and practicing verbs, you make it easier to construct complete sentences naturally. This focus on verbs also simplifies the process of thinking in English. Instead of getting overwhelmed with complex grammar or vocabulary, you can start with simple actions and gradually build your language skills. Observing actions around you. Start by paying attention to actions happening in your surroundings. For example, imagine you're in a park. You might notice people running, talking, feeding birds, or chasing a ball. These verbs describe the dynamic activities unfolding around you. Even when you're indoors, you can observe everyday activities. Think about what you or others are doing, such as cooking in the kitchen, cleaning the living room, or reading a book. These simple observations provide an endless supply of verbs to practice with. Practicing verbs in English. To strengthen your ability to think in English, dedicate 5 to 10 minutes each day to observing or imagining actions and identifying their corresponding verbs in English. Observation practice. As you go about your day, consciously notice actions and name them in English. For example, when you see someone pouring coffee, think pouring. If you notice a child playing with a toy, think playing. Imagination practice. If observing isn't convenient, close your eyes and imagine scenes. Picture yourself walking through a busy street, preparing dinner, or enjoying a beach day. Identify as many verbs as possible in English that describe the imagined actions. Benefits of verb practice. Focusing on verbs trains your mind to think directly in English. It helps you develop an active vocabulary that forms the basis for sentence construction. As you practice, you'll find it easier to describe actions without pausing to translate from your native language. Over time, you'll naturally expand your ability to think in English as verbs connect to other parts of speech, such as nouns and adjectives. By making verbs a daily focus, you'll create a strong foundation for thinking and speaking fluently in English. So, take a few moments every day to observe, imagine, and identify actions in English. It's a small step that leads to big results. Step 2. Learn nouns, naming everything around you. Once you've started to master verbs, the next step in thinking in English is to focus on nouns. Nouns are the names we give to people, places, things, or ideas. They're essential for identifying the world around us and form the building blocks of most sentences. By practicing with nouns, you can expand your vocabulary and make your thoughts more detailed and specific. Why focus on nouns? Nouns help us label the objects and people in our environment, making it easier to communicate effectively. Think of nouns as the puzzle pieces that fit together with verbs to create meaningful sentences. For example, verb-only thinking, pouring, With nouns, pouring coffee into a cup. By adding nouns, your thoughts become clearer and more descriptive. This approach also helps you process information in English without reverting to translation, bringing you closer to fluency. Observing nouns in everyday life. Begin by identifying nouns in your immediate surroundings. The beauty of this step is that nouns are everywhere. Let's take a closer look. In a cafe, you might notice items like tables, chairs, customers, and cups. At home, look around and name objects such as a laptop, book, or sofa. Outdoors, identify things like trees, cars, dogs, or buildings. This exercise encourages you to engage with your environment actively, translating the world into English. Practicing nouns in English. To get the most out of this step, dedicate a few minutes each day to observing and naming objects around you in English. This practice helps reinforce your vocabulary and trains your brain to think in English naturally. Observation practice. Pause for a moment in any environment and silently name everything you see in English. For example, while sitting in your living room, you might think, TV, remote, couch, carpet, window, curtain. Imagination practice. If you're not in a setting with many objects, imagine a familiar place, like a park or supermarket, and list the nouns you'd expect to find there. Combining verbs and nouns. To make your practice more engaging and effective, start combining nouns with verbs. For example, nouns only, table, chair, cup, customer. With verbs, the customer is sitting at the table. By pairing nouns with actions, you'll naturally begin forming sentences and thinking in more complete thoughts. Benefits of learning nouns. Focusing on nouns boosts your confidence by giving you a larger vocabulary to work with. It also complements your work with verbs, creating a more comprehensive understanding of English. Over time, you'll notice that identifying and naming objects becomes second nature, helping you think and speak English fluently and effortlessly. So, whether you're at home, outside, or in a new environment, take a moment each day to name the people, places, and things around you in English. It's a simple habit that yields tremendous progress on your journey to fluency. Step 3. Build sentences, connecting verbs and nouns. After gaining confidence in identifying verbs and nouns, the next step in thinking in English is combining these elements to form sentences. This step is crucial as it transforms isolated words into meaningful communication. By constructing sentences, you can describe your surroundings, express thoughts, and engage in conversations more effectively. Why focus on sentence formation? Building sentences is like assembling a puzzle. It brings together the separate pieces, verbs, and nouns to create a complete picture. This process strengthens your ability to think in English because you're not just recognizing words, but actively using them to describe actions and situations. For example, verbs and nouns separately, play and children, as a sentence. Children are playing. Creating sentences helps organize your thoughts and reduces the habit of mentally translating from your native language to English. Starting with simple sentences. Begin by forming short, straightforward sentences that describe what you see or imagine. Use the verbs and nouns you've practiced so far. At the park, children are playing with a ball. Birds are flying in the sky. A couple is talking on a bench. At home, the dog is sleeping on the couch. I am reading a book. The clock is ticking on the wall. Focus on subject-verb-object, SVO. Structure, the most common sentence format in English. For example, subject, children. Verb, are playing. Object, with a ball. Expanding to longer sentences. As you gain confidence, challenge yourself by adding more details to your sentences. This practice helps improve your fluency and prepares you for real-life conversations where more context is often needed. Basic sentence. Children are playing. Expanded sentence. Children are playing with a ball while their parents are sitting on a bench. Basic sentence. Tourists are taking photos. Expanded sentence. Tourists are taking photos of the monument while others are checking maps for directions. Adding adjectives, adverbs, or prepositional phrases makes your sentences richer and more engaging. Practicing sentence formation. Dedicate 10 to 15 minutes daily to describing what's happening around you in full sentences. You can do this silently in your mind or say them aloud if possible. Observation practice. Look around and describe the actions and objects in English. For instance, at a cafe, the waiter is serving coffee to the customer. Friends are laughing and talking at the table. Imagination practice. Picture a familiar scene like a park or a market and create sentences to describe it. Benefits of sentence building. Forming sentences trains your brain to think in English naturally and efficiently. It allows you to express yourself more clearly and prepares you for everyday interactions. Over time, this practice will make speaking English feel more intuitive and spontaneous. So, start building sentences today, combining verbs and nouns to create meaningful expressions. This small but powerful habit will bring you closer to fluency in no time. Step 4. Think in paragraphs. Tell a story. The final and most advanced step in training your mind to think in English is transitioning from forming individual sentences to creating detailed paragraphs. This step involves narrating events, describing scenes, or sharing experiences as if you're telling a story. By practicing this skill, you can develop fluency, improve your vocabulary, and gain the confidence needed to engage in complex conversations. Why move to paragraphs? Thinking in paragraphs builds your ability to express complete ideas, not just fragments of thought. It allows you to connect sentences logically, creating a flow that mirrors natural conversation or storytelling. This exercise enhances your ability to recall vocabulary, form coherent thoughts, and express emotions effectively. How to think in paragraphs. Start with a scene or event. Begin by picturing a familiar or imagined scene. It could be something simple like visiting a market, taking a walk in the park, or recalling your daily routine. For example, if you're at a market, observation. The market is bustling with people shopping and bargaining. Smell. The smell of fresh spices fills the air. Activity. A vendor is selling tea while tourists are taking photos. Visuals. The colorful stalls and lively atmosphere make it a vibrant place. Combine these elements into a paragraph. The market is bustling with people shopping and bargaining. The smell of fresh spices fills the air, blending with the aroma of freshly brewed tea from a vendor's stall. Tourists are busy taking photos of the vibrant displays, capturing the colorful stalls laden with fruits, vegetables, and handcrafted goods. The lively atmosphere makes the market a fascinating and energetic place. Describe your day. An excellent way to practice paragraph thinking is by narrating your daily routine. Start from the moment you wake up and continue through the major activities of your day. For instance, this morning, I woke up early and enjoyed a warm cup of coffee while reading a book. Later, I went to the park for a jog. The cool breeze and chirping birds made it a refreshing experience. After returning home, I worked on some tasks for a few hours. In the evening, I met a friend for dinner at a nearby cafe, where we had a great time catching up. Use a logical sequence. When forming paragraphs, arrange your sentences in a logical order. Begin with an introduction, expand on the details, and conclude with a summary or reflection. Include sensory details. Make your paragraphs vivid and engaging by describing what you see, hear, smell, taste, and feel. This practice enriches your vocabulary and makes your descriptions more dynamic. Practice tips. Spend 10 to 15 minutes daily describing events or scenes in paragraphs. Narrate your thoughts as if you're telling a story. Reflect on past experiences and describe them in detail. Benefits of thinking in paragraphs. This exercise helps you structure your thoughts, connect ideas seamlessly, and express yourself with clarity and creativity. It also builds your confidence in discussing more complex topics, making you a fluent and natural speaker over time. Start small and with consistent practice. Thinking in English paragraphs will become second nature. Why thinking in English works. Learning to think directly in English is a powerful strategy for improving your fluency. It eliminates the need for mental translation from your native language, which can slow down your responses, make you feel less confident, and lead to errors in communication. By training your brain to think in English, you streamline your thought process and enhance your ability to speak naturally and effectively in various situations. Faster responses in conversations. When you translate sentences mentally, Your brain works in 3 steps: thinking in your native language, translating the thought into English, speaking the translated sentence. This process is time-consuming and often disrupts the natural flow of a conversation. By thinking directly in English, you bypass these steps, enabling you to respond more quickly and smoothly. This is especially important in fast-paced situations like casual conversations or debates, where quick responses make interactions more engaging and enjoyable. For example, imagine someone asks you, "What did you do over the weekend?" If you think directly in English, you can immediately reply, "I went to the park, read a book, and had dinner with friends." On the other hand, translating your thoughts from your native language might cause delays, resulting in hesitation and a lack of confidence. Natural and clear expression. Thinking in English helps you express your ideas more naturally. When you constantly translate, sentences often sound awkward or unnatural because they follow the structure of your native language rather than English. Thinking directly in English aligns your thought process with English grammar and vocabulary, making your sentences sound more fluid and accurate. For example, in some languages, the sentence, "I will go to the market tomorrow," might be structured as, "Tomorrow, market, I will go." If you translate this word for word, it could confuse your listener. Thinking in English prevents such errors and ensures clarity. Moreover, thinking in English allows you to focus on the context and tone of your speech, helping you adapt to formal and informal situations effectively. Boosted confidence in real-life situations. Whether you're at a job interview, giving a presentation, or chatting casually with friends, thinking in English enhances your confidence. When your brain is accustomed to processing thoughts in English, you're less likely to stumble over words or worry about making mistakes. In professional settings, this skill is invaluable. During a job interview, for instance, you can respond promptly and confidently to questions without awkward pauses. In a presentation, you can articulate your points clearly and convincingly. Even in casual settings, such as meeting new people or traveling abroad, thinking in English allows you to navigate conversations with ease, leaving a positive impression. The path to fluency. Ultimately, thinking in English trains your brain to function like that of a native speaker. With practice, it becomes a natural part of your daily life, making English an effortless medium for communication. This shift not only improves your speaking skills, but also enhances your listening, reading, and writing abilities. Practical exercises to think and speak in English. Learning English effectively requires consistent practice, and practical exercises are an excellent way to enhance your skills. These activities engage your brain in thinking directly in English, enabling you to become fluent and confident over time. Here are 3 exercises to incorporate into your daily routine that will significantly improve your observation, descriptive, and writing skills. 1. Daily observations. Spend about 10 minutes each day observing your surroundings and describing them in English. This activity helps you train your mind to notice details and articulate them in English, which is crucial for building vocabulary and improving sentence structure. For instance, if you're sitting in a park, you might describe, "The sky is clear and the sun is shining brightly. Children are playing on the swings while a man jogs past holding a bottle of water. The trees are tall and full of green leaves." By focusing on everyday environments, you gradually familiarize yourself with common verbs, nouns, and adjectives. The key is to keep it simple at first and gradually add more details as your skills improve. Regularly practicing this exercise will make you more observant and help you describe real-life scenarios effortlessly in English. 2. Picture descriptions. Another engaging exercise is describing a photo or an image in English. Select any picture, whether it's of a beach, a bustling city street, or a cozy room, and narrate what you see. This activity enhances your ability to identify and articulate objects, actions, and emotions. For example, looking at a beach photo, you might say, "The sand is white and soft, stretching all the way to the horizon. The water is crystal clear and sparkles under the sunlight. A boat is sailing far in the distance, and seagulls are flying above the waves." This exercise allows you to be creative and practice describing settings in detail. It also trains you to use descriptive language, which is essential for storytelling and making conversations more engaging. You can make this practice more interactive by asking a friend or a tutor to correct your descriptions or suggest new vocabulary. 3. Write a journal. Keeping a daily journal is one of the most effective exercises for improving your English writing skills. At the end of each day, write a few sentences or a paragraph about your activities. This could include what you did, where you went, or how you felt. For example, "Today was a busy day. I went to the supermarket to buy groceries, then cooked lunch for my family. In the evening, I took a walk in the park and watched the sunset. It was a peaceful moment." Journaling allows you to practice sentence formation, expand your vocabulary, and reflect on your day. Over time, you can challenge yourself by writing longer entries or experimenting with different tenses and styles. The benefits of these exercises. Incorporating these practical exercises into your daily routine creates a natural habit of thinking in English. They improve your ability to describe, narrate, and reflect, ultimately helping you become a confident and fluent English speaker. By consistently practicing these steps, you'll gradually train your brain to think directly in English. This habit eliminates the need to translate from your native language, allowing you to speak more confidently and naturally. Each step builds on the previous one, helping you master verbs, nouns, sentence formation, and storytelling. Over time, you'll notice that expressing your thoughts in English becomes quicker and smoother, making conversations in real-life situations effortless. The key to success lies in dedication and regular practice. Whether it's observing your surroundings, describing pictures, or writing a daily journal, these simple exercises will transform your learning journey. Stay patient and celebrate small milestones along the way. Your progress will be incredible, and you'll feel more empowered to tackle job interviews, presentations, or casual conversations with ease. So, stay consistent and trust the process. It works. Don't forget to show your support by liking, sharing, and subscribing to our channel. These lessons are designed to help you every step of the way. So stick around for more exciting and practical ways to master English.